look elsewhere. There are so many investment choices, even in the commodity world, that one can choose to participate in, rather than buy something that has all this overhead supply. So, yeah, I think there's just too much pressure on oil, and the peak oil thing. You know, I think if the BP disaster taught us anything, and seeing those pictures day after day of that oil just gushing out of the bottom. I mean, what last year, I think the figures were in the Gulf of Mexico, 550 million barrels of oil out of just the Gulf of Mexico. There is no shortage of oil on this planet. There's lots of it.
I want to talk about one other aspect to oil, and it's especially a factor for Canadians. For all commodities, priced in U.S. dollars, if the U.S. dollar falls, the price of the commodity will rise. If you're a Canadian and you're trying to buy it, that can really work against your trade because you got to bring it back into Canadian dollars at some point. If the U.S. dollar is falling, you may actually lose a lot of your returns. How do you factor in the currency effect onto commodities?
Well, I think that whole idea of things being translated in dollars is something in the not too distant future that we'll remember when, and it'll be nostalgic. But
what do you mean?
Clearly well, I do not think the U.S. dollar nor the, you've heard me say this before, and I'll say it again, I do not think the U.S. dollar nor the euro nor the westernized currencies are long for this world, and I think we're going to move to some type of a currency unraveling or an event. Yeah. And I think we're inevitably looking at a new global currency to facilitate trade.
I'm shocked to hear that, because so far there's a lot of questions regarding the euro. How many times in the last 90 days have you heard the breaking up of the union, Greece separating, putting pressure on the euro? It's been volatile. I don't think anybody wants to see that happen. It's not in anybody's interest. Under what scenario would you see an event, as you say, change everybody's philosophy about the major currencies, USD and the euro being the two big ones?
Well, I think it's the recognition that the problems inherent in westernized economies, Canada included to some extent. You guys got assets, but you're a part of the westernized world and trading, mechanism of the globe. That the problems inherent in the U.S. and the Europe are basically unsolvable. That the jobs that are being created in Asia and in the third world are jobs that are going to stay there, that when new technologies and new industries arrive, that in the past have always given us that edge or that lead where employment was created and an investment cycle in a bull market, that's not coming to the westernized world anytime soon. And really, if I had to choose between creating another global war to facilitate demand and a reshuffling of global currencies, I'd choose the reshuffling of global currencies. So I really only see it as our only option to kind of resuscitate the global economy.
Okay, before we let you go, because we're just 10 seconds, you still bullish on gold? You've been bullish on gold for a while.
I think you've got to be. I mean, whether you want to protect yourself from inflation or you want to protect yourself from deflation, which is what's happening. Gold is the place to be. We own it. We love it. I think it's going higher.
All right, Damon, great to have you with us.